And I'd like to remind everybody that every one of these Zooms that we've done, even way back when Anne Ingen did one on Ireland, is been recorded, and all the links are available on the Oregon FCE website. They're actually on YouTube, and you can find them that way. We got to search a lot, pretty hard. It's a lot easier to just go on there and take and click on the link that I've provided for you. I'm Scott Teeples, and all you guys know me. You get all those emails from me. And I'd like to introduce Pam, but I'll come back to Pam in a little bit right there. I've got some people on here. Ann Ingen, you want to just tell them where you're from?
Oh, McMinnville, Oregon.
Okay, and Lyndon Iseth,
Amity, Oregon.
and Marcia,
Portland, Oregon.
and Sandy,
Silicon, Oregon.
and Linda with an A.
Excuse me. I said I was eating lunch.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Marion, Kansas.
Okay. And Barbara Thomas.
Can't hear.
Oh,
She's got her speaker off.
she's muted there.
Barbara Thomas, Wasilla, Alaska.
Ooh.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, I have a daughter in Wasilla.
Oh, you do? What's her name?
Her name is Enrica, which is the Hispanic version of her dad's name, Henry or Enrique.
Okay. And I got somebody, the name's Richard, but I know it's not Richard.
Sorry, Scott. It always comes up that way. Think of Dick and Jane storybooks. I'm Jane Mahaffey from Nebraska.
Oh, good.
Somehow we got to get that changed, right?
Well, that's easy to do, and I could help you on that. But if it's his account, it'll always pop back to his.
We share, so it doesn't
I can
matter.
even go change. I can even go change it for you, and then I could put anything on there I wanted. And
Oh,
you
you can put
find
on there anything you want. I trust you.
Yeah. All right. Is there anybody I missed?
Marion.
Yeah, I'm here.
Marion's here.
Klamath Falls.
Yeah, she's sitting next to me here. She's a lot of fun. So anyway, is anybody else I missed? I don't know, but I think Bonnie's still talking to Judy Fulmer. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I just want to introduce Pam. And Pam's going to do a presentation today on pollinators, and I'll let her talk about that a lot. I really need more presenters. I really do. I'm running out. I've got one coming for next week on trees, and I don't have anything for December or anything past that. So if you know anybody, and I'm hinting very strongly for presenters. So
I could do December.
anyway, all right. So Pam, and I'm going to actually highlight you for the whole crew. So
Okay.
Pam, it's up to you now.
All right. Good morning. Probably where you are, where I'm at, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But my name is, like Scott said, my name is Pamela, Pam. A little bit about myself. I am a member of Tennessee FCE and have been since 2012. Excuse me. I serve on the Western region. Tennessee is divided up into three parts, and I serve on the Western region board as president. My term with that ends in January, which means I also serve on the Tennessee State Board for FCE. I serve on the national board as a program coordinator. I've done that. This is my this year starting in 2026 will be my third year. And I am also the ACWW coordinator for National FCE. I live in Clarksville, Tennessee, as I said, which is in the middle portion. I don't understand how TAFC broke up the regions. I've asked, and they kind of think it's crazy because I live in Middle Tennessee, but I'm Western Tennessee for TAFC. I have lived in Clarksville most of my life and was raised by the daughter of a sharecropper here in Clarksville. And for those of you who are not familiar with that term, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much, my grandfather, my mother's dad, worked a farm that was owned by somebody else to receive a portion of that farm for his ownership. My mother grew up on this farm, and when I was a child in the 70s, and I'm going to try to show this, I don't know if you'll be able to see, in the 70s and 80s, my mother raised honeybees. This is the very last jar. This is the remaining, I'm trying to get it in the camera. There we go. This is the remaining jar of honey that when my mother passed away in 1997, we divided up the 5-gallon bucket, and this is all I have left. And as you can tell, I don't know, you may be able to see some of it. It is very aged. It's sugared, but honey doesn't go bad. I'll just tell you that, that honey does not go bad. So this is still edible, and I'm down to, oh gee, I just realized I'm down to 2 inches. Okay, enough whining about that. As an adult, I married my husband. Yeah, I keep looking at that honey jar, and now my mouth's watering. I married my husband in the mid 90s, and we live in town, but we have a small piece of property that I can garden on. So I have gardened most of my married life. My children are used to gardening and raising food. That's just, I guess, my background. When I was approached to do a hearth fire for National FCE, I chose pollinators to go along with one that had been written the year before, which was on food security, because I think they go hand in hand. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and bring up a PowerPoint presentation. Linda, with a Y, you may be familiar with this. I think you've seen it back in July, but I'm going to go ahead. Ready here, Scott? There we
Yeah,
go. Okay.
I'll tell you okay, it's generating.
Okay.
Okay, I can see your PowerPoint. You just need to start it.
There we go. Okay. So,
You're on slide 1. You're on the cover page.
okay, perfect. This presentation is called Pollinators. They are not just bees. I was very surprised in doing some research on what exactly is a pollinator. All joking aside, and I'm not joking, this is serious. One of the things that I found out, and I'll explain a little bit, is some of the most unusual things, not just critters, can be pollinators. As I said, my name is Pamela, and can everyone see the little video?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Is that you?
very pretty.
I don't know what causes that.
It is a hummingbird video that I found, and I think it's beautiful. But pollinators, they're not just bees. Okay, come on, you. If I ask, could you name 3 different pollinators?
Yes, because I read your lesson. I knew there were others. Wind and animals can do it. Bats can do it. Other insects, I think, do it as well.
And Scott.
Even people.
Yes, paintbrushes.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, this is a variety of bumblebee, and they are they can be commercially sold for greenhouses, the large farms that use greenhouses, because a lot of times when it's an enclosed space, they don't have the pollinators, the birds, the bees, the bugs So they would have to go in and manually pollinate. And now they don't have to, they can purchase colonies of the bumblebees.
Hmm.
So, all right, let's try this again. All right, so a pollinator, and I'm not going to read everything. We're going to discuss, and I've got a lot of other things too. But the National Park Service defines a pollinator as anything that helps to carry the pollen from the male portion of a flower to the female. We all know birds and bees. We don't, but it can be the same or a different flower. Some fruit trees actually have to have uh, a separate tree because they can't pollinate from the flower from the same tree. For instance, there are certain varieties of pears that cannot pollinate from the same flower or from the same tree. So we're going to discuss a few facts about pollinators. And again, I'm not going to be reading everything, but one of the things that pollinators do is they increase our food security. If I say, does everybody understand what food security is? Do I need to give you a definition? Okay.
No, we understand.
All right,
We've
great.
been studying that the last couple of years, so I think I'm good.
Okay. So one of the things that pollinators do is they increase the yield of different crops. They provide larger fruits, and by fruits, I'm not just and vegetables, but they also increase. Oh, the word escapes me. They provide us with more food on the piece of for the acreage. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Thank you. Almost all of our seed plants require pollination. And this is 1 out of every 3 bites that we eat. We have to thank pollinators for them. But pollinator numbers, they are dwindling. And part of that is being caused by the very farming industry that depends on pollinators. Sorry, we're going to do this. I think it's easier. It's essential for the survival of the ecosystem. One of the things that pollinators do is something called, and it's a great big word, carbon dioxide sequestration, which all that means is it helps to remove carbon dioxide from the air. Okay, now, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. And I'm going to take 3 seconds and try to figure out if I can do this the right way. Oh, nope, that didn't work. I went through this and I did understand the process, but okay. I'm going to bring up a website. Can everyone see the website now?
Yeah, with the seed packets, it's on there.
All right. So when we did this presentation in front of a live group, we provided them with seed packets and had them go and look up certain things on them. It's kind of hard for me to do that here on a Zoom, but I did want to point out some things that are very interesting. In 2017, Ferry Morris Seed Company, which they cover a lot of brands of seed, but they started something called Easy Sow seeds, which are these really cool looking little packets. When you buy them, they have this little window that you can see. All that means is the seeds are coated. They're coated for easy germination. The coating is all natural, but there's other information on the seed packets now that the company's Ferry Morris specifically started that I found very interesting. If you look on the picture right here with the snapdragons, see where it says loved by pollinators, and then you'll see the non-GMO. That's on the front. You can go down to right here, it's got all kinds of the seed count and the plant name, the image, but the interesting information is on the back. Okay, can everybody see the back of the package?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So if you look right where my cursor is, there's a great big $60 word called it says non-neonicotinoids, and it says safe for bees. It's very tiny, and I had to go get a magnifying glass to see it on the seed packet. Wouldn't you think they'd make that bigger? I'm going to discuss neonicotinoids in a few minutes, but the safe for bees part is what's important. If a bee can use it, then most other pollinators can as well. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to, let's try this. Going to do it again. Here we go. We're going back to the PowerPoint. So, the activity, as I said, we use seed packets. Interestingly enough, the new seed packets, I remember my grandmother saving seeds from year to year to year. The new seed packets, they do have a date on there, and it says for sell by. That was something I found interesting. It doesn't mean that the seed won't grow. It just means that it's a little bit, not as kind of like the best by date on a food. It's suggestive as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now, oh, sorry, I forgot to click on there we go. Our pollinators, as I mentioned, they're in decline because of, in part, the very farming industry that depend on them. There are lots of studies. Many land-grant universities are partnering together with other organizations and government agencies, the USDA, to see what's going on. And we have just a little bit of information. Some of the threats: loss of habitat, the parasites and pathogens, non-native and invasive plant species, climate change, pesticides, and then there's that big $60 word, the neonicotinoids. I could do a whole entire lesson on just those type of pesticides, but I'm not a scientist, so we won't go that far into it. Now, I'm going to mention just briefly that when we talk about loss of habitat and climate change, I'm not gonna be judgmental. I'm just providing some facts. When we talk about the habitat loss, they, just like humans, pollinators need food, shelter. Doesn't matter whether it's a bat, a human, a paintbrush, they still need food and shelter. The insect pollinators, they have a narrower need for this because of the larvae that they put on these, that they lay on these plants, their eggs, the things, the monarch butterfly, and we're going to get more into that in a minute. But like birds and animals, the nesting sites for birds, cutting down all of the trees, deforestation, that's one of the things that's having an impact on our pollinator numbers. Pesticides, both overuse and misuse of our pesticides. The neonicotinoids, basically, that is a chemical, and the chemical's right there in the name, the nicotine. They are sprayed onto the soil. They're added to seeds. They have an impact not only on the pests that they're trying to kill, aphids, insects, but they also on the pollinators. And the farmers, I think they're coming to realize that these are also decreasing crop yield. Oh, sorry. Let's go forward again. Parasites. I was shocked to learn that one of the things that beekeepers are facing are mites that are actually on the bees. The bee carries it back to the hive. The mites then spread, and it can wipe out a whole entire um, colony of bees. The uh, bacteria and a virus. I don't think, I realize that our pets can have viruses, but I didn't think about bees. But they can be, they again, these mites, they come and they attack the bee's food source, the honey. um, the non-native and invasive species, and I'm going to talk on this for just a second. I'm actually going to stop sharing for just a second because I want to talk to you and let you see my face. Um, the monarch butterfly. I don't know if you have noticed the decrease that we've had in the monarch butterflies from year to year. I know that my youngest, some of you may have met my daughter at National back in January. When she was little, we sent off for this kit, this little net thing that came with 7 or 8 little bitty larvae. And you put the little larva inside the net, and within a matter of days, she would have butterflies, monarch butterflies. And then the purpose was to release them. For years, she was, and I'm talking preschool age, she would see a butterfly and she would think that it was one that she had raised and released. I don't see those kits anymore. I don't even know where to get one. I'd love to, grandkids and great grandkids. But part of that is because of the killing off of the one particular plant that monarch butterflies need, milkweed. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of figured up to a certain point recently that if it had weed in the name, I needed to be pulling it. And then I started doing some research. The monarch butterfly needs the milkweed because that's what they lay their eggs on. The caterpillars use it for food, and then they turn into, that's when they go through their metamorphosis into the monarch butterfly. Well, at some point, they use one particular variety of milkweed, the native plant. But somebody thought, hey, I got a good idea. Why don't we give them a choice? Now, I don't know about you, but choices are not always good for everybody and everything. So they started planting a non-native variety of a tropical milkweed that is not beneficial to the butterflies and a lot of other pollinators. So when we use non-native or invasive, are any of you familiar? If I say the term kudzu, does anybody know what that is? So you are laughing. You're familiar with kudzu?
Is it a plant that kind of takes over things?
Oh, yes. It will. It has a growth rate that is phenomenal, and you can't kill it. I had when we bought this house 30, gosh, it's been 30 years. When we bought this house 30 years ago, there was kudzu on one of the fences, and I have been trying to kill it ever since because I parked my car right next to that. I'm afraid I'm going to wake up one morning and not have a car. All joking aside, it is a non-native plant. It was brought over from Asia and there is absolutely no way to eradicate it. It will cover an entire house in a matter of years. Like I said, the growth rate, I want to say it's something like 6 inches a day, and that doesn't sound like a lot until you think about it. It's like I said, phenomenal. All right. That can wipe out a whole entire field. There are subdivisions, and I'm not picking on community growth because we need that as well. But when we start eradicating all habitat uh, for our pollinators, then they don't have anywhere that they can reproduce, and their numbers are, of course, going to fall. It's cyclic. Um, I did. I'm going to bring my screen back. Here we go. I'm going to try this again. Sorry. Oh, um,
It's showing.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. When we look at uh, climate change, this is different from this is the temperature, the unusual weather patterns that we have. This is fires, it's natural disasters, anything that can affect our climate. Now, I will go on record as saying that not all fire is damaging because it can start regrowth, and there are some pollinators that need fire to reproduce. But in according to the pollinator.org website, and if you have not checked that out, I highly recommend it. It's got a lot of very interesting reads. But just in the year 2023, fires in California, or the severe weather patterns in California, caused a loss of 60% of the state's monarch butterflies. 1 year, 60%. And then I am going to mention what we can do, some ideas that we can do to save our pollinators. The pesticides. We limit the use, especially during the blooming season, which is when our pollinators would be most active on our plants. Supporting local beekeepers and organic farmers. So purchasing honey locally is not only beneficial to the farmer economically and to the bees. You know, they produce more honey, so the farmer keeps more bees. But it's also there are studies that show that local honey is beneficial to us too. And then of course the organic farmers shopping. One of the things that helps with the cycle of food security is bringing our food sources closer to us, the consumers, and purchasing from small organic farms and or small markets that provide the local farmers. That is also a way to save our pollinators. And when I mentioned the suburbs, some of the subdivision communities, a lot of them expect you to have certain pristine lawns. But by planting our lawns, if we can, to provide plants, logs, trees, and different varieties that will attract pollinators of all species. And if you can't do that, bird feeders, just a bird feeder. And then, but in our yard, you know, we live out where we can do just about anything. So I even talked my husband into cutting down a tree, and we've left a log in the yard. I'm going to stop sharing and ask. I know I have probably gone through this relatively quickly, but does anybody have any questions, or is there any information you'd like to add to this? I'm always open for new information.
Was there a number for that pollinator website, or is it
It's just
pollinator?
pollinators.org.
Mm. Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing that our area, of course, we were predominantly, not so much at this moment, predominantly agricultural in Montgomery County. But one of the things that the community has started is we have something called a hummingbird festival, um, where the family on this particular weekend, families can come out and have their they can watch the hummingbirds being banded to be able to keep track of their numbers. The children, they have people there that will interact with the children. You know, okay, we found a hummingbird. My granddaughter was an example. We found a little hummingbird. They took her off to the side. My granddaughter, as the hummingbird, told her to spread out her arms. They measured her wingspan, um, and she received a little arm bracelet with the date and her name. They had written her name on it. So the children got to understand the importance of protecting our pollinators. Sorry, that was a really cool family moment too. Um, we also have a lot of different organizations here. Our master gardeners that work with our extension service. We have uh, beekeepers associations. We have different organizations that are working year round to help uh, increase the number of pollinators and the awareness of the dropping. One of the things that's happening in Clarksville, well, in Montgomery County, where I do live, is we're doing something called Replant Clarksville because we've had a lot of growth lately. They've been cutting down a lot of trees. Well, a group of civic minded people are like, no, 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 we need to start bringing these back. Trees are important. Um, and I think that's all I have for what we can do to help with the pollinators. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak or have information? Linda, were you the one saying that y'all were studying that too?
No, not me. Maybe the other
Okay.
Linda. But thank you for all the information, Pamela.
I had fun. This Judy and Scott can tell you that this took so long. This present, not the present, but the whole thing, because there's so much information and it's constantly coming out with new things. I rewrote this thing. I don't know how many times. I'm laughing, but I did. I really rewrote this thing 4 or 5 different times because I kept finding more information.
Well, anybody got any questions or comments for Pam? And I just want to recognize Judy Fulmer, who is our national FCE president, who snuck in and like to welcome her here. She's muted, but she can't talk. She can't talk about me until she unmutes. Oh, there she did. Now she can talk about it. Anyway,
I'll just tell Pam that we used pollinators as our booth theme. That's one of the things we do in our county is at the county fair, do a booth.
Well,
I was very impressed. I had very little to do with it. I think I bought some little bees to put on the plants, but yeah, the more you can promote it, however, whatever works in your area. But
the Master Gardener program here in Montgomery County, when they did the Hummingbird Festival, they approached me and asked me if they could use the brochure that we created. And I asked Peggy and I gave them the stipulation that only if they don't change any information and they have to keep our information on the back. And they probably passed out, I would say 500 or 600. So,
sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
we figure we have 1,000 people maybe go through our fair building. So yeah, the more people that can see things like that, the more impact it will make. So,
and the brochure is not, it's specifically on bumblebees, but that was because we have the National FCE has a little stuffy. His name is Buzzy. I don't have one with right here. I'm not in my office, but we decided that we would have the brochure to go along with him. And again, I could probably have filled a small booklet with just the information on bumblebees.
Mhm.
I have a silly question.
That's not silly.
Do bees drink water?
Yes,
Ah,
They do.
yes. Yep.
Matter of fact, sometimes you'll see them around water and
Mhm.
they'll be dipping
Mhm.
into it. Get a little drink there. And you talked briefly about it, but you talked about humans pollinating. Years ago, Bonnie and I were raising tomatoes, and the blossoms had just come on, and then they just shrivel up and die, and I talked to somebody, and they said, "Well, get you a little paintbrush," and so I took my little paintbrush, and I was going from blossom to blossom, and it started sitting on like crazy, and you can't hardly believe that. And I had another problem, believe it or not, with zucchini, because I think it's almost impossible to not be able to grow zucchini. And
Mhm.
same thing. And when I used that little paintbrush, boy, it just went on there, and apparently we won't get them. And then another comment, we have a wonderful apple tree. And by the way, it is absolutely loaded. I'm breaking branches as we speak because it's loaded this year. Last year we only had maybe 4 or 5 apples, but we have a man come and spray the tree, and he's a commercial man, but he will not spray the tree while there's any blossom on it. And
Mhm.
that's because he wants the pollinators gone. In other words, he wants to do his part in not killing the pollinators. Because if you spray that tree when the blossoms are on there, you're going to kill not only the bad bugs, but you're going to kill the pollinators.
Well, but it also, um, you will notice that if you just wait until the blossom, once that part is passed, you will have a bigger crop yield. Your apples, I just, I had to laugh. Uh, I in my refrigerator right now, waiting for me to finish this afternoon. I have probably 3 gallons of apple butter that I'm I made Monday and Tuesday to be canned and to be put in jars and put in the canner. um, but I got lucky. We Our neighbor has a massive pear tree, and long story, we had a pear tree as well. They're the exact same variety, but I couldn't figure out why mine was not producing a lot of fruit. And I found out it was because the neighbors were spraying their tree early, and the variety of pears that we have. And I just noticed, I don't know if y'all can see behind me, I have a chair that's got a Hinkle thing on it. That's what you see behind my head, and that crazy doll. But anyway, uh, that's when I found out that because this particular variety of pears it can't be pollinated from the same tree. It has to come from another tree of the same variety. That we started talking to them, and now we both have a lot of pears, a lot of pears, a lot of pears, and we share them back and forth. So, and she and
Pam,
I will get together occasionally and make pear preserves. We haven't done it in the last couple of years, but we would get together and spend all weekend making pear preserves, and then sharing
my
the
mom
bounty
would
with
make
each other.
pears, canned pears, and she'd put a little bit of green food coloring in there with mint. And they were so good.
Ooh, I so and I'm gonna you mentioned mint, so I'm gonna throw this in there. A lot of us have herb gardens,
Yeah.
and um, I do. I generally will try to wait until after my dill and basil, any of the ones that flower, like the lavender and all of that, they're completely done before I go and harvest them. And I just, last year, as a matter of fact, in doing some of this research, I realized why that's a really good idea, because those they use pollinators just as well. So,
so
but
Pam, can we go back just a second to
sure.
your comment about the water? I think it was Marion that asked it. We keep a big pan on our deck, the ledge of our deck, and Scott has the drip system going into it so that we have a lot of water for birds and whatnot. Well, I was noticing that there were a lot of bees floating in it. There is a rock in it to keep it from blowing away, but the rock does not come up out of the water. So I put a shallower pan, just maybe 2 inches, but I put a rock in it so that
Mhm.
the pollinators can get on the rock, drink, and not, because if they get down in the water and get too full, they can't get out.
So
Right.
considerate. Great.
I actually, my mom, when she was keeping bees, she would take an old pie tin and put it on. We had 4 hives at one point, but she would put it on the ground next to or around the hives,
Mhm.
and she would go every so often and make sure she would add a little water. Um, and in the winter, when the bees need it, she would add a little sugar
Ah,
to the water. Not a lot, because you don't want to, like, sounds crazy, but I always kept asking her, what, you think they're going to get diabetes? Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. I have that sense of humor. I won't tell you how my mom responded. No, I won't. But anyway, so yes, that is something. A lot of bird feeders, like or not bird, but the bird baths, those are kind of shallow enough. But the deeper uh, pans and things, you do have to provide them with something.
yeah.
So, but and whoever said you were considerate, that's right. You're right. I mean, that's I kind of think that's what we have to be a little bit, is to think about something outside of ourselves, because that will benefit us in the long run. I mean, who would have thought that my 20 little pears on my tree were caused by my neighbor not wanting the bugs and stuff on their pears? And now we've got so much that we can share between the two of us.
One thing we've done on our farm, I don't know, it's probably about, I'm guessing 5 acres where our house is.
Mhm.
We used to just mow everything. Well, and it's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't want this one section mowed because there were a lot of wildflowers in it. So we
Mhm.
didn't mow it. So I've noticed that a lot of, I know I haven't seen bees, but I've noticed there's a lot of flying bugs. Maybe
Mhm.
there was some kind of a moth that was flying there. So this year it was even, Lamar and I can't do it. So even more of the farm didn't get mowed. But we noticed yesterday that we had monarch butterflies down in front of two of them. And then he also, I didn't see them, but he said there were dragonflies. So I think when you let things kind of go back to nature like that, it's helpful to everyone. If you can
Mhm.
stand if you can stand the high weeds. But the place
Well,
I didn't want mowed isn't around the house, but yeah, I think that attracted the pollinators to it.
Can I ask a question? Is it milkweed seed or
you can now purchase it, mostly, I think, from different seed companies online.
okay.
I have not seen any of the larger companies, the Ferry Morris or the Livingston, that does the milkweed. And I was looking, I've got some different seed components or different seed packets. I'm trying to get it where you can see it. Sorry, it's the
In
blurred
front of
thing.
your face?
Well, I did
There you
not.
go.
Thank you.
That's
Oh,
terrible.
and see, there's that creepy doll. But so anyway, I didn't see any of these that have uh the milkweed, but just about all of the seed packets that I did find have let's go back over in front of my face, have the
Yeah,
little bee
on your
symbol
chin.
that says that it is
Yep.
bee friendly or pollinator friendly.
Yeah.
Um, I do know that one of the local gardening organizations that I mentioned, they're doing something monthly called a seed swap, where you can take seeds and they will swap back and forth. I asked one of them who attends if she could find out if they have heirloom seeds, and milkweed is one of the. Sorry, my husband just brought the puppies in, and they had to come and they think that they have to come and be on the camera.
Yeah.
Go on, go.
Are those
on.
heirlooms then? The milkweed?
I don't know, but that could possibly be a source to find it. All right, go on. Sorry, we have beagles. We have 3 beagles. Talk about pollinators.
Their ears alone, right? Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up and we had milkweeds there, when I was a little kid, we used to take, because they have a pod on them,
Hmm.
and you open them up and they make nice little ships and stuff like that. When you're a little kid, you can turn them upside down. The other thing is we used to take them apart and we'd pull the seeds out when they were right there because they have like a little parachute on them,
Hmm.
and they'd go all over. And my dad didn't like it because they were weeds for a farmer. So, but
Well,
they were
like
a
I
lot
said,
of
and
fun. They were a lot of fun.
But I'm sorry, if you're
no,
in
go ahead.
herbs, for like medicine and stuff like that, those type of weeds are good
Hmm.
to make
Hmm.
medicines out of.
Hmm.
So I
Um,
prefer it that way.
I I am a huge forager. If I say that, okay. And so, my brother-in-law, who does our lawn mowing, he loves to set that blade really low and take out every dandelion on my place.
I know.
And I told him, I said, look, um, I love you. You're a fantastic brother-in-law. But if you don't stop that, I'm going to show you another use for that lawnmower. And I'm teasing because I do. I treasure
You're
him.
being recorded, Pam.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she looks over. Oh,
My husband's standing over here laughing.
So
So
if he ends up dead, they may investigate you.
no, I wouldn't kill him because I'd have to cut the grass.
my dad used to eat dandelion leaves.
So we do. I love like dandelion jelly
Oh,
and the wild violets. I do that too. But one of the benefits this year, I think he saw, was because of the information that we dug up about the pollinators and how they need uh, weeds.
yeah.
But Scott, that's all I have.
Okay. Well, I
Very
appreciate it.
nice.
Yeah, loved it.
Anybody else got any other comments or anything like that? Before we close, I just want to tell you I got a request from Hawaii today from Margaret Canberra she wants me to do a presentation for Hawaii, and I said, well, I'm going to share it with anybody that wants to come. She has members that want to know more about the national website and how to get here and how to get there and what the resources are. And so I have set a date up with her, and it's going to be Saturday, November the 8th, and I'll send you the information. And at 9 o'clock Hawaii time, and I'm going to have to figure out what time that is for even Oregon, because currently we're 3 hours difference, and we'll figure it out, and I'll send that out. And then again, that's Saturday, November the 8th. I did do one earlier on the website, and it'll be kind of informal. There won't be a PowerPoint, anything like that. I'll be more like show and tell. So maybe you can use it there. And with the help of Judy and other members, we've got a tremendous amount of information on the website,
Yeah.
and it's a wonderful tool. It looks like a man built it, and if you think it did, he did. It's not all pretty and everything like that, but it's a tool. And I know Bonnie was talking to Judy just even this morning about some other things we need to put on there. And again, I do need presenters. So if you or someone else you might know would like to do a presentation, Marion says she's going to do something in December for me, but I need all of 2026. And I've thought about um, discontinuing these, but I've got some people that they really look forward to these. And anyway, so I'm going to continue until somebody bumps me off. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Any closing
Thank you.
comments?
Thank you,
very much.
Pamela. Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Scott.
Thanks, Pam.
Bye. Thank you
you.
so much, Pam.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was fun.
It is. It's always fun to get together.
Right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.